Hey guys, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and don't forget to click the notification bell to get notified about every new video.
Country. Okay, they can go inside and do some kind of work, whatever it is required. Okay, has limited or restricted entry and exit. Example: tanks, vessels, silos, storage bins, hoppers, vaults, and pits, and spaces that are means of entry. So, restricted means of entry and exit. There is only one area from where you can enter, and only one area where you can come out. Then, it is not designed for continuous employee occupancy. You cannot stay there all day. It is not designed for that. You only have to go for some time, do your job, and come out. This is called confined space. Everybody understand this? This is the definition of confined space. Limited entry and egress. It's not for full day occupancy, and it has bodily entry. You can say designed for bodily entry. You can just enter and come out. There's nothing else you can do. You cannot just bring your chair inside. You cannot bring your table inside. Okay, I will sit inside and I will enjoy. No. You can only go there for some work and you can come out, maybe for a limited time. This is it. Okay. Only limited and restricted area from where you can work only for some time, not for whole day. Okay, characterizing workplace space large enough to enter and limited or restricted entry or exit and not designed for continuous work occupancy is a non-confined space or it is a confined space. It is a confined space. Okay. If it's a confined space, then what we have to do? First thing, permit. Permit required for confined space. Then we first of all, if we see it is a confined space and our supervisor is telling us to go inside, the first thing we have to do is get the permit of work. Okay. So permit to work is required to enter the confined space. Then first thing we have to check is hazardous atmosphere. Is there any gas inside which is hazardous to us? H2S, CO, methane, oxygen deficiency, oxygen enrichment. All these things, 4 things we have to check before entering the confined space. Then engulfment hazard. Engulfment hazard is if it's a water tank and water is already filled inside, what will happen? I can drown because I don't know how to swim. We have to check. We have to first take out the water outside. Then, if it's a storage pit for grains or rice or any other material, the engulfment is maybe I will go down and I will just keep going down. Because it's a grain area, no? It's a rice sheller. So once I will step inside, I will go inside because I have no egress and access to the top level. Because I was not attached with the cable. So there is an engulfment hazard. Then configuration hazard. I don't know what to do. Nobody gave me any task. There is no enough light. I don't see anything inside the confined space. Okay, so what to do? Nothing. Because there is no configuration for the work. Then any other recognized serious hazard, anything else can be there. Snakes can be there. Rodents can be there. Mouse, scorpions can be there. Because here there is too many in this area, in UAE. So if there is a pit inside your work area, today nothing is there, but tomorrow there will be snake, there will be scorpion. So first we have to check, and these hazards are also included into confined space hazard. Then if there is no confined space, then no. Then you don't need the required work permit for non-confined spaces. So it is only required for the confined space. These are the examples of confined spaces: tanks, main holes, boilers, furnaces, sewers, silos, hoppers, excavation, vaults, big pipes, tunnels, ducts like this, pits and pits. So see, these are the common example for confined space areas. So where these are the confined space areas already mentioned in your workplace, it's safety officer, safety department's job to put this sticker first on that area. So before you go, your supervisor told you to go there, work in that area. If there is this sign, then we have to follow all these rules. We need a work permit. We need to check for gas. We need to check for engulfment hazard. We need to check for configuration hazard and the other hazard if you find this sticker. outside the area. So this is required by the government that you put this sticker on every confined space area. Okay? Understand everybody? For example, if you go along petrol station, where is the petrol? Down. So every twice in a year, they have to clean that tank to remove any kind of corrosion, remove any kind of, you can say maybe if there is any liquid remaining, because petrol and if petrol stays in one place for too long area, too much time, it always makes sure it always creates some kind of corrosion towards the wall, and after some time it starts breaking inside. What they have to do, they have to sand it first and weld it again every once in a year. So for this kind of area, you need what? You need confined space, work permit, and the training also. Okay. Okay. So these are the examples: shallow pit, sewer, tank. Okay, like this. This is the main goal. So if you go inside, how would you know there is maybe a gas down there? So you have to do the atmosphere test first. Then tunnel and pipelines. These are the examples. These are the tunnels and these are the pipelines. Then double hull. This mostly happen in the shipyard. Okay, they have this kind of structure there. Then closed water tanks, pits, hoppers, fuel tanks are also fuel tanks for a chemical, for petrochemical company. Then process tanks again, grain bins, okay, where you keep the rice and grain for storage. Silos and tanker trucks. So all these things need cleaning once in a while, right? So for the cleaning purposes, whenever you're going inside or any kind of maintenance purposes, you need work permit, you need confined space entry permit, you need to know the risk assessment, you need to know the method statement, there should be an attendant, there should be a supervisor, and the training requirements as well, and all the required PPEs. Okay, so as per ADOS safety framework, Code of Practices 27, page 7, definition: an enclosed space enclosed or partially breached is at atmospheric pressure during occupancy, or is not intended or designed primarily as a place of work, or may have restricted means of entry and exit. So before we learned the same thing as a definition for confined space. This is also according to the ADOS. Okay, so there is no entry and exit, proper entry and exit. Bodily pressure occupancy, you cannot have more than maybe 5 or more than 2. If it's a small tank, how can you adjust 5 people inside it? No. So only occupancy is very restricted occupancy. Then there is no place, it's not a primary place of work. You cannot work there every day for 8 hours. No. You have to go inside maybe for 1 hour and that's it. You come out. This is not your basic workplace. So this is a restricted area, less entry and exit area requirement, and also this is not a primary place of work. It's only for some time, and you come and go inside, that's it. You will finish your job, you did your work permit stuff, complete the mission and come out. Then have an atmosphere which contains potentially harm levels of contaminant, not have a safe oxygen level or cause engulfment. So most of the time what happens in confined spaces, there is way less oxygen. Now at the moment here it's 20.9% in this room, but there maybe it will be 17, 16, 14 because it's down there. No? There is enough heat already. So oxygen, what will happen in the area of heat, oxygen go upward. So oxygen already released from that area. So before you enter, you have to check for the oxygen. Fill the oxygen bottle. Confined spaces include but are not limited to storage tanks, cars, process, same. So if it's between these things, it's a confined space. It can be a storage area, it can be a tank, it can be process vessels, it can be boilers, it can be pressure vessels, silos, as we have seen here Okay, so these are all the confined space. Which of the following is not part of definition of confined space? Okay, this is the question. Whoever knows the answer, just raise your hand. Large enough that employee can bodily enter and perform work, has restricted means of entry and exit, is not designed for human occupancy, area with the risk of electrical shock. What is the answer? Which of the following is not part of definition of confined space? Area with an electrical shock. D. Okay, because everything else related to confined space. It is not designed for human occupancy. No, it's a confined space. Has restricted means of entry and exit. Yes, it's a confined space. Large enough that employee can bodily enter. Employee should enter, only then he can start doing his work. So it's a confined space. But area with the risk of electrical shock. Area with the risk of electrical shock, this can be area with the electrical shock because there is oven, there is fridge, there is a monitor, there is TV. So this is also area with electrical shock. So only fourth one is not related. Is this a confined space?
Yes.
Right? Because there is only one person can go inside at the moment. And there is limited access and egress area. Is this a confined space? Yes. Also. Why? What is the why? Why do you think? Okay, it's a limited entry and exit point, and only one person can go inside at the moment. And there is a chance of high deficiency of oxygen. Maybe it's a gas tank, maybe it's a chemical tank. So there can be other gases at the bottom of the tank. Is this a confined space? Yes, also. Because he is cleaning it, he is using it, only one person can go inside, he is standing only, there is not enough room for him to just walk around. No. And since he is cleaning it with the chemical, there will be fumes, there will be gases. So we have to take all the precautions which you need to take for confined space. Which of the following is not confined space? Okay, pit, trench, office room, main hall. Office. Okay, so do not panic. If a worker puts his head inside main hole to sleep inside condition of the tank, is it confined space entry? Yes or no?
No. Yes.
Yes. Okay, because he has to see whether there is enough light, whether there is any scorpio snakes available inside, okay, whether there is any kind of material which shouldn't be there. First they have to take the material out, first they have to put the ladder inside. So yes. Okay. Why confined spaces are so hazardous? Okay, so this is the confined space. This is the main hole vent. Okay, so we will see how it works. Oxygen deficient atmosphere, there can be less oxygen, less than 90.5%, then it's called oxygen deficient environment. If there is enough oxygen more than 23.5%, then it is oxygen enriched environment or atmosphere. What will happen if there is less oxygen, less than 19.5%? You cannot breathe properly, or after some time you will die. But if there is oxygen enriched atmosphere more than 23.5%, there is enough chance of flame or fire or explosive. Because in 23.5% oxygen, you have to just do the two metals just like this, and then will be flame. Because what fire needs? Oxygen, right? If you consume have you ever taken this fire motion training? What they tell you, there is fire triangle, right? Fuel, heat, and oxygen. If you remove one, there will be no fire. If you remove fuel, there will be no fire. If you remove oxygen, there will be no fire. If you remove heat, there will be no fire. So oxygen is the main purpose, main thing which supports the fire ignition. So if you remove oxygen, there will be no fire. But if there is more oxygen, there is a chance of fire. Then flammable atmosphere, there can be H2S, there can be carbon monoxide, there can be methane inside the pit. Because it's a main hole. Their chemical is mixturing with each other, right? So there will be a chemical reaction and there would be H2S, methane and CO, which are both, all of them are flammable and explosive. Toxic atmosphere, any gas which will irritate your eye, irritate your nose, you can die inside. That's the toxic atmosphere. Then temperature extremes. If you see here, there is a pit here in the ground. Outside it is maybe 37.5 degrees centigrade, but inside it's very hot. Okay, because there is no enough oxygen. So inside maybe it will be 55 degrees. So there is temperature extremes as well. Then engulfment hazard, as I said before, for this grain base. If there is a grain inside and you step inside, you will go down inside the grain. Okay, because it's not like solid area, no? It's grains. You will go inside. So there is a engulfment hazard as well. So next is noise, silk, wet surfaces. If you are going inside through some kind of welding or sanding, there will be too much noise because there it is surrounded. Okay, like here it's too much noise. If I go outside, there will be less noise. So noise, silk, wet surfaces. If it's a water tank, if it's a petrol tank, if it's a chemical tank, there will be silk, wet surfaces as well. Then falling objects. If you did not cover, you are inside and you did not cover the main wall, you did not barricade the area, and nobody knows that you are inside, what will happen? If somebody throws something, it will go inside and it will fall on your head. So, falling objects is also a hazard. So, how many hazards are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, these are the common hazards which we have to look for when we are going to work inside the confined space. Okay? Okay. Those two things we use, okay, in our daily basis at the moment we are using. We are inhaling oxygen, O2, and we are getting our what? CO2, which is carbon dioxide. Okay. So O2 and CO2. Given a fixed amount of oxygen that we would have a confined space, the pressure of oxygen cause carbon dioxide will increase. When oxygen decreases to less than 19.5%, the atmosphere is said to be oxygen deficient, putting occupants of confined space at risk of losing consciousness and death. So, when we inhale oxygen. When we exhale carbon dioxide. One thing. When we are working in the confined space, and confined space is very thin area, there is only limited amount of oxygen. And we are taking all the oxygen inside already. And we are getting all the carbon dioxide. What will happen? There will be more carbon dioxide and less oxygen because we are inhaling it. No? We are exhaling and we are inhaling, so we will use all the oxygen inside and there will be enough carbon dioxide and then it will be a deficient or oxygen deficient area. The oxygen will go 19.5%, less than 19.5%. Okay, so these are the levels of oxygen. Okay. First of all, it's 19.5% minimum acceptable oxygen level. So if it's a 19.5% oxygen in the area, you can work. This is your work requirement oxygen. And if it's 15.19%, then you cannot work. Then what will happen? Decreased ability to work, strain. You cannot work properly. You will get tired very quickly. If you can lift here, this chair you can lift easily. Maybe in the deficient area, you cannot lift it because you don't have enough oxygen because your blood supply needs oxygen, right? Your blood, your oxygen, give the oxygen to your brain. And after some time, if you don't get enough oxygen, what will happen? You will be dead. Then 12 to 14% respiration increasement and poor judgment. You will lose it because there is no enough oxygen. Okay, so there will be poor judgment and it will increase your respiration as well. Then 10 to 12% respiration increase, lips blue, two lips. You will do like, but you will see your lips getting blue because there is no enough oxygen from 10 to 12%. And if it's 8 to 10%, mental failure, fainting, nausea, unconsciousness, and vomiting. So within 2-3 minutes, your mental failure your brain will be failing, starts failing. Then you will start mounting. You maybe get down unconscious. You will be down there. Then 6 to 8%, if it's between 6 to 8%, if you stay there 4 to 5 minutes, maybe somebody can pick you up outside and there is a possible recovery if you get enough medical attention. But if you stay there for 50%, 6 minutes, it's a possibility that you will die. It's a 50% chance. And if you stay more than 8 minutes, definitely death. Okay, so 6 to 8% oxygen. If you stay there for more than 5 minutes, it's a chance of possible recovery if somebody pulls you out. But if you stay there for 6 minutes, it's a 50% chance of death. If you stay there for 8 minutes, it's a 100% chance of death. Okay, then 4 to 6% coma in 40 seconds. There is no enough oxygen. For only within 40 seconds, you will go into coma. And then death. Okay, so oxygen level checking is very important before you enter the confined space. First thing we need to breathe is oxygen, right? H2S, methane, CO is later. That we can handle. But if there is not enough oxygen, we cannot handle. So we cannot enter inside the confined space. Okay, then first we have learned oxygen deficiency. Okay, now we will learn about oxygen enrichment. So oxygen can also be present in concentrations that are too high. Oxygen concentration greater than 23% is oxygen-rich atmosphere and can cause combustible materials to ignite very quickly. So 19.5% is minimum, 23% is maximum. If it can be wood, it can be plastic, that is combustible. No? It can be combusted on a certain point of oxygen. So 23.5% or 23% above is oxygen enriched environment, and it can cause combustible gases to combust and flammable gases to flame. Agar जब we are entering the confined space, before entering the confined space, we check all 4 gases. In the gas monitor, there are all 4 gases. You will see the gas monitor also. In gas monitor, there are 4 gases: oxygen, methane, CO, and H2S. So when you enter the confined space, it will automatically turn on and it will start singing if it's less oxygen. Okay, if it's more oxygen, it will also ring. If there is H2S, it will start singing as well, and methane and CO also. Okay, so toxic atmosphere is in what kind of gases? It's for hydrogen sulfide and carbon monoxide. Hydrogen sulfide is H2S, carbon monoxide is CO. Okay, atmosphere inside confined space will contain toxic gases that may cause the infant to quickly overcome and cause fatalities. If it's more than the requirement, you will definitely die within minutes. So you have to check for the atmosphere gases as well before you enter the confined space. So oxygen we see in percentage, right? 19.5%, 23.5%, 4 to 6%, 8 to 10%. It is in percentage. But this is checked in ppm, parts per million. If there is a million parts of oxygen and 1 part of H2S, we will say it's 1 ppm in the atmosphere. If it's 2 parts of H2S, we will say 2 ppm in the atmosphere. So this is how we calculate toxic gases. Okay, we check in ppm. Why concentration of toxic gases are varied in parts per million? What is ppm and how big is ppm? So now we will learn about this. See, this is the full atmosphere. Okay, we are at the moment, this is our atmosphere. Okay, and this small dot, any small dot, like this green dot or this white dot, is parts per million. So this whole picture is basically million parts, and 1 small dot is parts per billion. Okay? So parts per billion means 1 part in the whole atmosphere in that area. Okay, sir? Understand what is parts per billion? So we will check the gases, atmospheric gases in parts condition in their range.